So thanks for watching today. This one is on a bit of a new technology. It's been out for a little bit, but great idea. The Hamilton UPro NFC sensors, TPMS sensors that you can supposedly, I'll say supposedly, a little bit of a spoiler here, but program with a smartphone using the same technology that you would use to tap and pay for something. So the sensor doesn't look any different. You can't really tell any difference from the actual look or size of it or anything. I've got UPro 2.0. They're of similar size. They work fine as far as programming with the TPMS tool or reading with other brands once they've been programmed and what have you. But with using a smartphone, I think it falls really short. Sorry to say that. I think the potential is excellent, but the development is a little bit weak. So I've tried programming these with two different iPhones. I've got a 12 and a 16, and really difficult to get it to program some vehicles. I didn't get it to work at all. With another one I tried, the frequency settings for North America were wrong, and hit or miss a little bit. So I think that the potential is really good for users. And when I say users, I'm not talking about shops. Shops have these tools. They're equipped already. They don't need to rely on their smartphones to program sensors. I think it's really better for the end user. And the end user, I think, would benefit the most from just being able to read these when they're in the wheel, to read IDs, to see the pressures. And for that's because a lot of vehicles still are using low-line TPMS, which doesn't display pressures at each wheel on the dash. So when you get a indicator, you don't know which wheel's the problem. You get out, you look. If it's just at the threshold of 25%, you might not even be able to tell a difference at all. So then you have to have a tire gauge. But everyone has a smartphone in their pocket. So go scan the sensor with your smartphone in the wheel and find out which one's low. Read the pressure. It doesn't do that. So gives you some data, some that is in code still. It's not usable to an end user. But some vehicles you may be able to get these to program in hand. I'm yet to install one into a vehicle and then try to reprogram it. I may give that some effort at some point, but I think the likelihood is low, as the stem sticks out. This is going to be inside next to the wheel, so accessing that part of the sensor close with the telephone is going to be very difficult. It's got a really low profile tire. So yeah, I think the potential is really good if they can get it close enough. I mean, I can get within inches of a tap payment device and still pay. So I would think that if you get to the end of the stem, that would be close enough that you could still read these if they can get the signal strong enough. Or maybe it works. So anyway, you can watch the rest of the video to see how the programming went. But yeah, that's the summary. Works fine as a normal sensor, programming with tools, reading with tools. I expect vehicles aren't going to see any issues with that, but for programming with a smartphone, I think it's spotty at best. That's my experience. So thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of the video. If you like my content, like and subscribe. I'll continue making these things as I get the time. Thank you very much.
So the sensor looks the same as any other sensor, and it can be programmed by a phone or a tool. Doesn't really look any different from the outside. So I've got it set up for one of my vehicles. I got a Mitsubishi North America Outlander PHEV. It's a 2018, and it's doing 433 there. I set up an ID that I manually entered, and then I'm going to scan it, double check it after we program it with another tool. I'll use the Autel and the ATEC, because we'll program with the ATEC as well. I've got a set of 4 of these, but here, let's get started. So let's configure this one. Wants me to hold it near. I'm not remembering which way it wants it held, but okay, what happened? Did it work? Did it not? Let's find out. In a way, this is an Autel tool. It cannot program the sensor. It doesn't do Hamilton UPro, but can read it. Sorry, the screen's a bit dirty. The bright light above me causes a lot of reflection. Get into TPMS. Go to the Mitsubishi. Outlander. PHEV. And thought mine was 315, but anyway, we'll use the 433 since that's what it programmed. Apparently. And we'll trigger it. Interesting, isn't it? Usually when they're good, it reads it quite quickly. While it's thinking about that, it'll time out in a second. Nope, and there it is. So it does say it did it at 433. So let's turn that off. And we'll let it just configure the sensor with its own ID. Oh, they're interesting, hey? I guess maybe that ID I was trying to enter wasn't. I'll trigger it. Somehow I ended up on spare. There it is. So it worked. And let's look at the ID. Does it show me here? Does not. Let's go to check sensor. See what that does, eh? Scan. Be really nice if this tool would allow people to use their phone as a TPMS tool, not just to program, that's pretty slick, but to read it. Because for a lot of people, even like those Mitsubishis, when you get the indicator on the dash, it doesn't tell you which wheel it is because it's low line TPMS. So if you could go scan your sensors with your phone and read the pressures, then you wouldn't need to have a TPMS tool. Everybody has a phone, right? Pretty much. anything? Nope. What's option say? BLE sensor. I've had UPro BLE, but I don't currently. Interesting. Database 6,000. Favorites. I already have favorites set up, I guess, eh? Okay, let's go to the Odyssey and try that one. Just tell it to configure it. Okay, I'll try a different sensor. So I grabbed the other sensor. I had programmed these previously, but I got it to scan. So sensor detected. That's what it shows me. So not very helpful to most people, right? What does that mean to you? Pretty sure I programmed this one for the Odyssey. Honda. So I'll grab a TPMS tool and check, and I bet those digits top to bottom might be the ID it's set for. We'll find out in a second. So there's the hex ID. How does that compare? $8C3EDF73. Is there any 73 in there? Yep, DF3E. However, it's interesting, isn't it? This says 8C, that one says CC. Sensor status 82. What is it? What does that mean? App code byte 96, version 01. So let's try the ATEC tool, see what it shows for the ID. But you know, it doesn't show you pressure there, right? Check. Honda Odyssey 17 8C, same as this. So this isn't displaying correctly. So let's go back to option. Nope. This one. Vehicle lookup. Go to my favorites. There's the Honda. So if I configure it again, it is 315. That's good. So again, I just write the same. Let's try manual. Let's go DD 22222222. Success. Okay. What do we see now? Overwrite this one. There you go. DD222222. All right. Nice. This one. DD222222. 84 Fahrenheit. I wonder if that. Let's go to check. It's not happy, huh? A little bit sensitive. No, thought one of these might have been temperature. It's interesting, it's still reading the old. That's not the ID anymore. As we just saw, it was DD22222. Let's go out of there. Can we just go to check? Guess not. CC. Anyway, so to make the long story short, a little bit sensitive, very difficult sometimes to get this thing to read and program. However, I will show you, the tool still programs these like a regular tool or a regular sensor. Go into the same vehicle. I'll pick a different code. UPro 2.5. Let's go to EE 5555555 and 315. There it is. Let's scan it. Trigger EE 55555. So that works, right? You can program it with a regular tool that programs the UPro 2.5. I don't have to even get super close when I'm doing tap on purchases. So that doesn't change. Anyhow, so hit or miss a little bit. Probably you can get it to program. Might just auto create, but you know, when you go to the vehicle information, favorites, it's showing the relearn is only OBD. So if you know your IDs, you could write it in. To auto create, you still need to have a TPMS tool to do a relearn for these two vehicles. But you know, I think the capability is there. I think Hamilton needs to put a bit more work into it. And I think they could make this a very popular sensor for, wouldn't make tire shops too happy, but people could program it themselves. That's one thing, but reading it with a smartphone would be phenomenal because, like I said, if you're trying to, as long as you could read it within the wheel, right? I would have to read, I don't know if you get near enough through the sidewall of the tire with a steel belt radio and all that. But that would be amazing to be able to read pressures and be able to figure out really quickly, because everyone has almost a smartphone, you know, in their pocket, right? What the which one is the one with the low pressure, because sometimes by looking at it you can't tell. So hopefully they keep developing this and make it a little bit better. That would be great. But like I said, I was excited to see this. It's interesting that they are developing new technologies. That's great. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See you again. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thanks.